Arlen Ness Big Sucker for M8s. I believe this goes from 17 and current. All models with the M8 engine. This is the model 18457. It comes in two other versions also, which is a chrome backplate or a gloss black backplate. This one is considered the standard version. So let's get into it, see what's all involved. Alright, let's see what we got here. So backplate, as I mentioned, this is the standard version, so you can see it's just like a non-polished aluminum. The filter, as you can see, this is not the round filter as in most of the other big suckers that you see on the market. This one is specifically made to fit over the M8 air cleaner cover, the OEM cover, so it'll go like that. I'll eventually get a new nameplate or a new plate to go over that. This had the original 107 moniker on it. So next in the box we have the plate that goes over to keep it all together. And then I guess the best fit would be obviously that the cover plate goes on top of that, screws into the middle. The one thing, since this is still in the bag, the one thing that I did like about this is how it does leave the bottom and the front of the filter element exposed. So I like that feature there. And last but not least, we have instructions and hardware, gaskets. I'm not going to take, let's take it apart, why not? So that's it for the overview and the unboxing. So let's head to the garage. We'll take off the old heavy breather that the bike came with, and we'll put this on and see how it goes. And again, the heavy breather, I mean, it worked fine. I had no issues with the bike, but this area right here, more often than not, when I was riding, my shin would hit it, and it really just became more annoying than anything else. So that's why I'm doing the switch. Would have loved to have stayed with it if possible and not had to spend the money for something else, but it just got to the point where it was so annoying that I had to make the change to something a little more low profile. And there we go. All right, these bolts look pretty good. All right, there we go. Back in business. And let's see if this does what it's supposed to do. There we go, there's that piece. Okay, there's one more piece that needs to come off. I knew this was here, but just completely forgot about it. I actually thought it came off with the other part, but the gasket, which is actually pretty much on here pretty good, so this is going to take a while for me to get this off, I think. So I will leave you guys here, work at getting this off. Okay, so it took me a solid 20 to 25 minutes to get that gasket off here, but it's off. You can see a couple little scrape marks from my pick. I tried to pick, tried a razor blade, got most of it off with a razor blade, and then went to this. And what I did was I just kind of scraped around. It actually made it very easy to see what I had left once I went to the brush. So what I did was I stuffed the sock just to make sure nothing got in the throttle body, and went around the outside. I actually wet it a little bit too, which helped it come off a little bit faster. So that's that. Also, for those of you going from your OEM air cleaner, there'll be a bracket up here. It'll bolt right into here, sit over the breather bolt holes. That has to come off. And I don't know, surprisingly, that there was, the two bolts were in there on mine, even though the bracket wasn't. so the dealer must have just screwed the bolts back in there. There was no Loctite on it, so, and the directions on the Arlen Ness doesn't call for any Loctite on this, so we're just going to pop these in, make it nice and pretty. So one of the other things that I did actually in the house was this little plate. I mentioned this plate in the unboxing. There's a little rubber gasket that goes in here. Screw these 3 plates in with Loctite. Okay. So these slide in from the back. Just like this, slide in from the back, go in place there. Number 2, slides in from the back. Alright, so that's that there. And now there are 2 O-rings that need to go here, 2 that need to go here, and this will sit right on top. So let's get the O-rings on. Okay, so what we'll need to do next after putting the breather tubes in is put these rubber gaskets right in here on the back plate. So these will go right in here. Put a little dab of grease on it to keep them in place so they don't fall off. Okay, now next we are going to put the bolts in that are going to attach it, back plate, and the gasket. So drop the bolts right in here.
1, 2, 3. Gasket. No. I think it matters. Oh, yeah, it does maybe. Alright, so that goes like that. Alright, perfect. So let's get this together.
Drop a blue thread sealer. Oops, that's not good. Okay, so thread sealer, and now we're going to pop this right in here. All right, there we go, now we're in business. All right, so what it does in the instructions, it says to keep this loose. So we'll get these in here and then we'll torque them down a little bit. Next come the 2 rubber gaskets that go on the front side of the breather bolt. So we will pop those in here, again, a little bit of grease. I'm gonna get the grease on. Okay, now loosely install the breather bolts with a drop of Loctite. All right, we're more than halfway home, I think. All right, tighten the 3 intake manifolds. Okay, so these specs call for, I'll see if I can drop them in the video or at least in the notes. in the comment section 8 to 10 foot-pounds. So I do not have a torque wrench that goes that low. So I converted it to inch-pounds, and it's going to be 96 to 120. Now on to the breather bolts. Get the filter unpacked. Pop it on. And the cover plate. Okay, so there are 3 screws that go into the cover plate. Obviously you can tell it's on an angle. It's longer on one side than the other, so 2 long ones go in the front, short one goes in the back. Way too much Loctite. Spread this out a little bit. All right, we're good to go.
And the last small screw to the back.
Okay, let's torque these down. That is all done. Okay, the final piece is obviously the cover. Sits right on in nice. Now, there is an additional piece that needs to go on here. That's provided by Arlen Ness. This little plastic washer goes on the inside here of the cover. And the bolt, I'm not going to put this on now because I want to put a trim plate on it. So this goes on the inside, stick the bolt through, and this will sit here to give you the clearance, I guess, or tighten up the space there to put your cover plate on. Or your air cleaner cover, I should say. So here's the final looks after I put the trim plate on the middle there. This little thing with this silver Harley Davidson logo in the middle, or nomenclature in the middle. And then again, as I mentioned before, as you can see, the breather element, the filter is exposed underneath, which I liked. Top isn't closed.